Hello and welcome to Living a Culture of Life podcast by Human Life International. I'm your host, Colleen, and I'm joined today by Genya and Valentina. Genya is our affiliate in Ukraine. And then Valentina, you're from Ukraine originally, correct?
Yes, I lived in Ukraine until I was 18 years old, and then I moved to United States. Yeah.
Okay. So we're just going to be having an episode today on the situation in Ukraine, specifically regarding life and family and all the amazing work these two amazing women have been doing. So welcome to our podcast. And I guess let's just start by just what's going on in Ukraine right now. What's the situation there?
Yeah. So Ukraine right now is suffering much due to the full invasion of Russia in my country, and I'm sure that many listeners know that Ukraine is suffering this invasion not only just this last 2 years, but actually 10 years since the time Revolution of Dignity started in my country. And something very beautiful because my people felt the need to break through every single tie that we had still with Russia, because it was very, very much infiltrated still, even though we were free and independent since 1991.
And that was left over from the Soviet Union.
That was whatever was left was just not fitting in anymore. You know that it's like you cannot fit in the new wine into the old skins.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And then what's going on with life and family over there right now? With the situation with like abortion, LGBTQ rights, and all of that, or quote unquote rights,
Yes.
and all of that.
Yeah. So obviously that my country was under so many years of the Soviet Union, and the propagation was exactly that the destroy and destruction of life, especially since the time when Lenin, in fact, Lenin was the first leader, and Russia was the first country in the world that legalized abortion.
And that was in the 20s.
In the 20s,
you said?
yes.
Wow.
And so he was very sick before he signed this document allowing abortions on demand. And he wanted to make sure that it was not very much so targeted to the Russian woman in Russia, but it was targeted to the women who were in the countries which was occupied by Russia at that time.
Wow.
And Ukraine was that country, because we have the story where our people were persecuted, sent to gulags, killed with Holodomor. You have a history of literally destroying the nation. My people went through the most desirable annihilation. To destroy the language, to destroy the culture, to destroy a family, and so 70 years of that oppression over Ukraine led obviously to many changes in the heart and the mind of people, right? Because it became to be what Soviet Union wanted to be. And
it became accepted culturally.
It became accepted.
It's been promulgated that long.
And in fact, to have 2 children in the family, well, it's okay. But third child was the most unacceptable. It's like, why do you need a third child? That's too much.
I think something similar was happening in India at the same time, where culturally in India you have 2 children maximum, and 3 children's a big family.
Yeah, it's a big family, so comparing to like so many American families have 10 kids, 8 kids, 10 kids, families that desire to accept life and just joyful and happy in that, no? So right now, what's happening with the families? So imagine the full invasion of Russia. For 10 years, we have been, let's say, crying out to the whole world. We have the great enemy is at our neck, and he is bloodthirsty. Vladimir Putin don't care about he is not counting with any memorandums or any agreements, or neither he wants to sit down around the table and discuss even the situation now. No, what he wants to reach the borders of NATO, which he cleverly tricked so many people in the United States to believe that that's exactly what he doesn't want, right? But if he would take Ukraine in 3 days, in 2 months, in 2 years, as now, if he would take us now, he would be exactly bordering the NATO country, Poland, Hungary, Slovakia. And so that's what he wants. He wants Ukraine to be a battlefield. So he does not care about neither his own people, obviously, neither about Ukrainian people, neither about obviously anybody in the world. He's the greatest narcissist that exists right now. And somebody American, is an American person. He says, if you ever wondered what would you do during the time of Nazi, what would you do? And you had a thoughts like, what would you do? No, and you have respond to that question. Do it now because this time is now. Ukraine is currently a bulletproof jacket for entire world. We're not only trying to defend our borders. We're not fighting anybody, let's say. We're fighting, if we put in the word fight, then it's going to be fighting for our dignity, our freedom, our sovereignty, and our place to exist, because we are being tried intentionally to be destroyed.
And it sounds like you're basically caught in the middle because you have Putin and Russia on one hand coming in, and then you have the European Union trying to promote certain ideologies that are anti-life, anti-family on the other hand.
So, and it's incredible what happened because Putin wanted to win some category, some groups of people, right? And he needed to win specifically United States somehow, because he was seeing, okay, the administration of United States, the government of United States right now, supporting Ukraine, helping Ukraine, we are grateful for this help. It's not enough, and we're constantly crying, like, let's say we are trying to bring awareness. It's the help that we're receiving is like a bowl of rice for 1,000 people, where you cannot say you have not received help, but you cannot say that you have actually received help enough to stop what is happening. And like just yesterday, it was 138 missiles landed to Zaporizhia. So you imagine that's landed to the civil buildings, to whatever, to the villages, to the people, ordinary people who are not even the military. So Vladimir Putin was seeing, he wanted to reach the category of particular conservatives in this country, no? And the key is to conservative groups of people is to speak the message of life, right? That's what America is trying to defend right now.
Life and family.
Life and family. No, we're not talking anymore so much about democracy and Republicans, because that's about liberals and conservatives. Even those that believed in democracy and want to see the United States democratic country, they disagree with the values, right? So they are going to turn to the Republicans because of these values. Because democracy is no longer democracy. It's just a mockery of democracy in many ways. And so he's trying to reach particularly the category of the people that is conservatives, and that will definitely hear him. No, the message is what? Pro-family, pro-life, that he's going to be defending every human life in his country, right? That he doesn't want LGBT communities, he doesn't want same-sex marriages, he doesn't want any of this. And he sees that Ukraine is being influenced, by European Union in America. Because truly, to say that right now, so many different organizations are, they come to Ukrainian little business owners or whatever, or business to business, and they say, we'll give you grant. But if you agree to this, if you want to apply for the grant, you have to agree to some policies that this organization or this business is asking you to comply. And one of them, it is to accept the tolerance to LGBT communities. That comes from America or Europe as well.
Basically, the money that Ukrainian businesses are getting, or just Ukraine in general is getting, is coming with these strings attached, saying you need to promote abortion, you need to promote same-sex unions, and all of that.
They want us to do this, but it's amazing paradox, that's something that people in the United States maybe don't know, is that Ukraine is a very conservative country.
Really? Okay.
We are a country that defending marriage between men and women. You ask anybody on the street, you ask young people, and what do they think about this? They say that this is the trend they're trying to us to accept, but we don't want that, because we are very much attracted to the young women and to the young men. We want to have a families. We understand, because if you have country as ours right now, 28 million people country, out of 43 million people country, that not that many years ago. And 17.5 million people economically is not capable to support the country, right? And then you have um, 4.3 million children in the country. We are a dying country.
Mm-hmm.
And so
is that population decreased because of the war or because of abortion, or both?
So we have 10 million people exited the country at the beginning of war.
Okay.
So that brings us to the 38 million, right? Right now, 28, this is the official number. But I think this is less by number and more by exiting the country.
Okay.
So, but abortions, nobody even anymore leads statistics, because we have many different ways of abortion now, right? That's morning after pill, that is a in vitro fertilization also includes in that, right? How many children are being just
quote unquote discarded because they're just frozen embryos.
Absolutely. They're nobody needed. How long are you going to keep that baby in the cryoconservation?
They're not considered people.
They're not considered people.
They're not going to.
You could just wash it in a drain, right? So, so that also as well. It's impossible right now to actually even have a statistic. Mm-hmm. And it does not exist right now in my country. We just know that I know because I work with gynecology doctors for many years. And since 2011, I organized together with my friend Genya. She's a head organization for the human dignity that exists for 30 years since the fall of the communism.
Wow.
Yeah, and so they were the first pillars that defended life, and she can share her important points. But so together we organized gynecology doctors and intern students, medical students. We were brought more than 1,000, closer to 1,500 doctors to Medjugorje from Ukraine. And these are doctors who performed abortions on daily basis for little money, for big money, depends on trimester. And they were directors of the maternity centers or the clinics, private clinics, in vitro clinics. These are intern students just about to enter into the practicing, and performing abortions. That's something that is required, And so we targeted, I guess, this category of people. And we see that from them, even there's themselves saying that it's absolutely a third level of do whatever you want. It's become to be a very, very big business.
Mm-hmm. So is abortion legal in Ukraine then? I actually don't know the legal situation with that right now.
Yes, it is legal. Before 12 weeks, you can perform abortion on demand.
Okay.
And after that, it needed to be the very valuable reasons.
Okay. That's what they're trying to push in Poland, I believe, right now. That's like what the push for legalization in Poland is too.
Yes. With the President Duda, Poland has become to be a country that just strongly defended life and family. Like even to the point that, imagine, they even if the family lost a child, let's say, miscarried the child, they are being given maternity leave. They are being allowed to, take the baby's body, to bury the baby's body. They are being allowed to receive even some compensation. So it's everything is pointed out towards that was a human person living, and now it's a human person that died and deserves to be buried as a human person.
Yeah, that's beautiful. It's a culture of life. Where
it's a culture of life. Yes, it's right to recognize that you have a precious value in front of God, and so therefore, if I'm somebody who is a believer or not believer, right now we're actually fighting everybody. Even these people who don't believe in God, they say something is happening in this world that we have lost completely a sense of existence, and something had to give us that value. And if I don't recognize this in you, if I don't fight that for you and with you, so what is the point then of life? Because even relationships that people enter, same-sex relationships, the cry within them, it's like, it doesn't satisfy me. I have mutilated myself and still didn't satisfy me. I'm still feeling this emptiness. No.
Yeah, it goes against human nature and God's plan for marriage and the family. And so there is going to be the emptiness, even if you think that that's what's going to be fulfilling in the long run.
Yes.
Can you share a little bit more about your work with the OBGYNs in Ukraine and how you would take them to Medjugorje and everything there?
Генчика, хочете, може, ви поділитися про нашу співпрацю і про лікарів-гінекологів Меджугор'я?
Враження лікарів-гінекологів було таке, що вони ніколи б таку тематику, таку проблему, як аборт, не піднімали.
So our doctors that we work with, their impression was after, going on the pilgrimage, that this subject have never been actually spoken at all, abortions.
Really?
Ні в сім'ї, ні в університеті, ні на роботі.
Not in the family, not in university, neither at work.
І за тиждень перебування, за 7 днів перебування в Меджугор'ї дуже багато просто міняли свої погляди, свою життєву позицію.
7 days in Medjugorje changed many of them to change the position they had before, in life and the family in general.
І вони говорили, що ми наробили в своєму житті.
They were saying, like, what have I done in my life? What have I done with my hands?
У нас руки по лікті в крові.
Our hands are full of blood.
І після того, коли вони поверталися,
And after they came back to Ukraine,
деякі просто народжували самі дітей.
some decided to have more children, give a birth to more children.
Випадки, що усиновлювали дітей, тому що не могли вже самі народити.
There's also the stories when doctors adopted children because they couldn't give birth naturally anymore to the child. Yeah.
І, звичайно, в своїх кабінетах дуже багато спасали жінок від того жахливого кроку.
And many of them worked really hard to save every baby. When the women would come and ask for abortions, they would really...
І навіть зараз вони кажуть, лікарі-гінекологи, що коли сьогодні навколо смерть, кров, війна, розруха.
And even now, when the doctors say, those doctors that we work with, they say, now it's war. It's everywhere is the destruction. It's a horror.
А ви можете подарувати життя.
But you can give a life to your baby. No, that's what their message to the women.
І слово лікаря-гінеколога для жінки є дуже авторитетне.
The word of the gynecology doctor to the women is very authoritative.
І тому ми завдяки Chalice of Mercy ми скерували такий напрямок діяльності, власне, на лікарів-гінекологів.
This is why, thankfully to the Chalice of Mercy, we have been able to lead the doctors out of this darkness. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Can you share the story of the woman who performed abortions for 40 years who went to Medjugorje? Because I think that's a very beautiful personal story of the impact on one person.
Yeah, in fact, I'll share 2 stories I think would be so powerful, which is many. I'm actually really contemplating that I need to put this whole into the book because imagine since 2011, pilgrimages and so many doctors, we have stories upon stories. And so that was in the beginning when we just started. It was 2011, and it was the very first group of doctors we had. And so we had a doctor. She's very famous in Ukraine. Many people know her name. I'm not gonna mention just in case because I promised to her confidentiality. So she was the daughter of now she's at age, but when she was young, her father was belonged to the communist political party. He was at a high rank, and she was a doctor and very famous doctor, worked for 40 years as a gynecologist, main gynecologist of one of the cities in Ukrainian region. That's how it works. So everybody submitted to her.
Okay.
So she traveled to Medjugorje pilgrimage just because it was a free pilgrimage. And she took her friend with her, and they just wanted to go to see Croatia, Bosnia-Herzegovina mountains, and all that.
Beautiful.
So yeah, Adriatic Sea. And very first morning, when doctors arrive, we climb the Operation Hill. In fact, believe it or not, we give them all rosaries. We just give them the rosary, and they don't know how to pray. Many don't even know how to make the sign of the cross. Many don't. They just make something like this around their face. They are afraid to do it wrongly because they have a very wrong impression about God generally. Because during the Soviet Union time, to the world, the churches were open behind the Iron Curtain, right? But it was not. It was KGB agents instead of priests. They were trying to
Whoa.
catch the people within the church and persecute them.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's another story. Yeah, Russian Orthodox Church was infiltrated by KGB agency.
Wow.
And until now, too, as well, because all the good priests and monks and nuns were sent to gulags.
Oh man.
And and the rest, whoever spoke, who did not want to comply to the KGBs, they were just killed. Like the most scandalous persecution, and many people know this priest. His name is Alexander Mein. If anybody want to research, that was the Orthodox priest was killed by KGB agents.
Okay.
So anyway, going back to the story, so this doctor, she climbed the Operation Hill. We prayed the rosary, and we just teach them by heart to say this Hail Mary by heart. And and then everything happened the whole day, and then the following morning, the beginning of conferences we have. In fact, with every group, we never try to really speak to them about somebody else's life. We need to help them to understand that God loves you particularly, and that you have a dignity. Before you understand dignity of somebody else's life, you need to have a value of yours, And so that's the work, which we enter through these doors only. Never come in strong at their face, that you are basically abortionists and you kill the babies, right? We don't say we're against abortion. We're saying we're for life. We are for the baby's life.
Extending mercy to them, saying,
Yes.
you're a valued child, like God loves you,
Yes.
God created you, and helping them understand that, and then guiding them towards recognizing that every
Yes.
life has value.
And then it's so easy because they never feel with us. They never feel judged.
They don't feel attacked.
Yeah, they don't feel attacked. They don't feel like they're facing you need to stop doing this. So she climbed the Operation Hill, and she was sharing about this climb next morning, and she says she got up and she started like shaking and crying, and she said, I'm a person of no faith. I walked across a church door and never entered, and she was telling something I shared with you just a little while ago. And but when I climbed the Operation Hill, what I felt is that I'm climbing the mountain of bones and skulls of the babies that I have killed with my own hands for 40 years of my practice as a gynecology doctor. 40 years.
Yeah.
Imagine. And so she was crying and she was just sharing, and she actually came a second time, a following year at the same time, and sharing that story at Operation Hill with other doctors. And she sent many doctors from her city and her region as well. And then another thing that she said, that she felt the presence of God so strong, and that God has given her the last call, basically. He wants to forgive her. She needs to stop doing what she was doing. That was so powerful as one of the stories. And another one it was so powerful for me personally, because we had, it was just before COVID. And we organized pilgrimage, and was one young doctor, a man. And after the conferences, just about finished the pilgrimage, and one day only left, he comes to me and he says, I needed to talk to you. And I said to him, let's go, we're just gonna come to the corner there. And he started crying, literally, like just bawling. He said, Valentina, I never understood what my profession is, and I never understood what was happening in my life. So he said, I'm a gynecologist. I was just going to come back to Ukraine, and me and my friend were going to start the in vitro fertilization clinic.
Mm.
We were going to start our own business, in vitro fertilization clinic. And he said we're going to go to the conferences. Right now it was just like all brewing, and that's what we're going to do. It's very big money. It's unbelievable money in Ukraine.
Is that because I think there's a big surrogacy problem in
Yes.
Ukraine, correct? Because I remember hearing about that around the time the war started, is that women who were surrogates who had fled the country were under contract to come back to have
Yeah.
their child.
Surrogacy, in vitro, donor, the
Like sperm, yeah.
donor and egg donor. This is the primary business in gynecology. It's like, let's say that if we're gonna talk about human life and business, Ukraine was, on the top of it.
Wow.
Seriously, yeah.
Interesting.
So it became to be really bad. And so this doctor was going to start a clinic, and then he said, I invited all my friends, like we were going to do this. And then he said, and the second thing, that my wife and I love my wife, he said, very much, and we got married, but we were not ready yet for children. So, and we got pregnant, and I was so afraid for her health that I didn't want any other doctor to perform abortion on her. So he said I was the one who performed abortion.
Oh my goodness.
And he said I never even crossed my mind that I was actually killing my own child.
Wow.
Imagine. He was devastated at that moment. He's like, what do I do now? I'm a killer of my own child.
Wow.
He said, in my relationship with my wife after the abortion, I could never understood, like, we had such a good, like, interaction, we were very good at our, family life, let's say. And, but she refused me afterwards. She didn't want to see me. And, like, she was just, our relationship just went downhill afterwards. We're still together, but he said, I don't even know how to fix it. And now I understand what happened. She said, she knows that I'm a killer of our child, even though my intention was good, but he said, I didn't understood. So you see that with Ukrainian doctors, I enjoy working with them so much because it's not hard. It's not hard to speak to them about this very truth. Same to the medical students.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think that the truth is really intact in us. When I speak the lie, you feel it. When you speak the truth, you feel it. That's how God created us,
Well,
really.
because it sounds like they're growing up in a country that values life and family. So but they haven't heard about this stuff in medical school. Like you were saying, they didn't hear about it. People aren't talking about the truth of abortion. So when they have the values, like they understand them and embrace the values. And when they understand that this contradicts those values, it's so easy to see. Like they're primed to be able to embrace the truth, it sounds like.
Yes. So they don't want to, and now time is particularly the most amazing, because we don't want anything to do with Russia. We just don't. We have been constantly attacked. No, and not a single word is believed anymore. And so now we want to restore our culture. We want to defend our nationality. We want to defend our language. We want to defend the music and the song and the art that we had, which we were deprived for so many years.
Mm-hmm.
Not permitted to breathe the air. It's like you need to purchase the air you breathe,
Wow.
So now it no longer is going to be the case. And now the fight for our freedom, survival, is so strong and motivated. And I see that so many other now so many organizations, so many businesses, so many people, just big people, little people, young people, old people, we're willing to give our life to defend what is belong to us. The world of the map of the world is set. We need to all stay in our borders, and and Ukraine have a right to defend itself. But the problem is defend on many levels. No, defending, first of all, we have been promised to be defended. That's another subject, I know, but it's like we have been promised to be defended by Budapest Memorandum, which happened on 1994.
Okay.
And which stated that if Ukraine give nuclear power weapons and transfer them to Russia, and Russia promises never to attack Ukraine, and United States and UK guarantees us to defend us in case there will be any conflict.
Oh, interesting. Nobody talks about that over here.
No, nobody knows this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very simple. Budapest Memorandum, 1994. It's right there. Is original copy of original document is hanging in the internet. Anybody can read that. It's very clear language there. It says. So we intentionally have been weakened, so incapable to defend ourselves. And by the way, over 30 years, our Ukrainian army and navy has been intentionally deteriorated, and Vladimir Putin entered at the perfect timing. Perfect timing was 2013. He wanted to see what at that time, government of United States, how it's going to react. It was not that much reaction. And then he was waiting until America is going to feel very weak. He was watching what his great push was when American troops left Afghanistan. And then if you kind of go back and you see that what happened, that's when it happened. No, America felt weak to him, and he attacked. So that's the best. So then he knew he's gonna pair with other countries like China. He knew that Belarus obviously is gonna support. No, he knew China is gonna eventually support, because he's trying to organize coalition of people, of countries that is going to fight with him. Iran, Iraq. I mean, right now, these missiles that are flying over our roofs and landing to the civil buildings and, killing civil people, these are Iranian Shaheds. These are other military equipment that is being sent from all over.
Now, you said when we were talking beforehand that there's no better time to defend life and family in Ukraine because of the war. Can you talk about that a little bit, and then what the two of you have been doing to kind of cultivate that culture there?
Yeah, it's so, може ви розкажете, чому зараз найліпший час захищати людське життя в Україні?
Тому що зараз уже багато хто переконався, що українська земля просякнута кров'ю ненароджених дітей.
Because right now so many people realize that Ukrainian earth is being soaked in the human blood of unborn children.
І ми, мається на увазі українське суспільство, знищили цілу країну, цілий народ.
And we, meaning Ukrainian society, has killed with our own hands the entire country, another entire country.
І тепер ми кажемо, що нам багато кого не вистачає в країні, в тому числі і наших захисників.
And now we see that we are lacking people in our country, including our defenders, our military.
Тому що ми їх знищили.
Because we have destroyed them.
І зараз ми піднімаємо це питання на рівні держави, що це є і національна безпека країни.
And now we are actually boldly raising that question to the government, because this is our defense of our nation as well. No?
І з позиції медичної етики це теж є приниження високого покликання лікаря.
And also this is the great humiliation for the doctor to be killing someone so small. No?
Який покликаний рятувати життя людини і здоров'я, а не знищувати його безпосереднім втручанням.
Doctor is called to defend life and and support it so it will be led to the birth, no, and not to kill it.
І якщо раніше мотивували аборт в 22 тижні вагітності по медичних показаннях, тому що є патологія розвитку дитини.
If before it was into 22 weeks, it was suggested to do, like pathology tests and if something with the child, so they recommended to do an abortion.
То тепер ми бачимо дуже багато наших воїнів-захисників, які повертаються інвалідами.
And now we see that so many of our men, military men, come back from the battlefield, are mutilated. They become to be handicapped, literally.
І це є приклад, що ми не повинні їх знищувати,
And
тому
this
що
is
вони є
example that
інвалідами.
we shouldn't be destroying the child. We shouldn't be killing the child who is with the special needs, as much as we wouldn't do that for the military man.
Oh, that's a beautiful analogy.
І в нас є законодавство України, Цивільний кодекс України говорить про те, що ще не народжена дитина має право на спадок.
And so, important thing here that our constitution states that unborn child have a right to inheritance.
Mm.
So,
І ми їм говоримо, що дитина ненароджена має право на спадок, але не має права на життя.
so we say to the government officials, so the unborn child has a right to inheritance, but have no right to life. Doesn't make sense.
І лікарі нам дуже вдячні за те, що вони кажуть, що ви нам допомагаєте забрати з наших рук цей смертоносний інструмент.
And doctors are really thankful to us because they say you taken from our hands the instrument of death.
Не тільки кюретка, якою роблять аборти, а і медикаментозні таблетки, і рекомендації на інвітро, скеровування на
Not only the
інвітро.
curette, no, but also morning after pill and in vitro and so on,
І застосування тієї самої контрацепції.
and using of the contraceptions.
That's beautiful. And speaking about the pill, can you tell the story of what you discovered was going on with the abortion pill in Ukraine and Poland and what you did about it?
Розкажіть історію про абортивну таблетку між Україною і Польщею ситуацію.
Після російської агресії дуже багато біженців, в основному це були жінки з дітьми, які приїхали до Польщі.
After the Russian aggression, many people have exited the country, and especially women with the children.
І невдовзі на сайті з'явилась інформація з телефоном, з координатами, що для бажаючих жінок українською мовою, що для бажаючих жінок можна придбати медикаментозну таблетку.
So many women who went to Poland, after some time, it was
Ранньоабортивну.
the website showed up. And the website is stating that in Ukrainian language that anybody who is wishing and wanting to receive the morning after pill is able to connect and come and receive it, basically.
Я хотіла особисто переконатися в тому, що це діє.
I wanted personally to see how it works.
Ну і спланувала, що я задзвоню, скажу, що мені потрібно.
And so I made a plan to call and talk to the person there and telling them that I need the pill.
Але мені польський колега каже, в тебе дуже серйозний голос, ти не кажи, що це тобі потрібно.
But my colleague said in Poland, don't tell that was you who need it. Your voice is too serious. Tell that you need somebody else need it.
Ну, але я зателефонувала,
So I called
сказала, що я є біженка,
and I said that I'm a
з
refugee.
родиною в складній ситуації.
So I came with a family and we're in a very difficult
І
situation.
моя родичка має вагітна, і ось в Польщі аборти заборонені, і, власне, що ви порадите, ви пропонуєте?
And my relative is
такий
pregnant
шлях?
and she's lost, she's feeling lost, and so I'm calling in concern about her and what would you recommend to her?
І вони одразу погодились і сказали, що дуже добре. Я одразу сказала, що термін досить великий, вже більше 10 тижнів вагітності.
They immediately said to me, there is no problem. However, I said to them, the pregnancy went in very far, so.
Але у відповідь нічого страшного,
But they told me nothing
користуйтесь.
is, it's no problem, it's just gonna be okay.
Я намагалася отримати від них інформацію, яку організацію вони представляють.
So I tried to actually ask them what organization, who they are working with to find out more information.
У відповідь отримала, що це є міжнародна організація, яка об'єднує там декілька таких
They
організацій
responded to me
за
that they
права
are
жінок.
international organization that is fighting strongly in defending the women
Ну, і я кажу,
rights.
але ж в Польщі аборти заборонені,
But I said to her that, but Poland not permitting abortions.
чи це не буде порушенням з польського законодавства?
But I said maybe it's going to be, so the abortions are forbidden, and that's going to be against the law.
У відповідь сказали, ні, надсилайте нам свою адресу, свої координати, свої телефони і одразу рахунок. Ми вам надішлемо рахунок, на який потрібно сплатити 70 євро.
And they said, not a problem at all. We're going to send you the bank account. You send us information and the address, and you need to pay 70 euros, and we will send you the pill.
Ну, я кажу, що українці зараз, біженці, знаходяться в такій критичній економічній ситуації, що для них це є великі гроші.
And I said, well, but Ukrainians right now are in very critical situation financial. Majority of people don't have such a money.
Чи не можна отримати безкоштовно цю
And I said,
таблетку?
could she receive that for free? Is it possible to receive for free?
Ні, тільки після ми надішлемо вам тільки після оплати.
She said, no, we will send you after we receive the payment.
І дуже хотіли отримати мої координати.
They really wanted to get my information,
мій емейл,
my email address, my number.
Я, звичайно, не давала, тому що якби вони побачили емейл і телефон, вони б одразу зрозуміли, хто така Геня Самборська.
Of course, I didn't give them my email or telephone number because immediately they would research me who is Genya Samborska.
І я їм подякувала за інформацію, сказала, що ми подумаємо, і я їм ще зателефоную.
I thanked them for the information and I said, I'll think about it. In any case, I'll call you.
І коли ми дійсно переконалися, що такий якби шлях існує в Польщі.
And when I realized that there is such a direction as at work, such a way at work in Poland.
Я ще перед тим просила їх, що я приїду до них на візит. Конкретно дайте мені адресу, я до вас приїду безпосередньо, щоб у вас отримати консультацію, отримати цю таблетку.
And even then I actually asked them if I could come to visit them where they are, so for direct consultations, and they said no, that no.
Ні,
No needed.
Тільки так по емейлу ми вам все надішлемо і на вашу адресу надішлемо цю посилку.
We work via email and phone and we will send you the pill by the mail.
Я запитала, що якщо будуть наслідки після використання цієї таблетки, чи вони беруть якусь відповідальність за прийом цієї таблетки.
So I asked them if there's going to be any complications after I receive the pill, what do I do? If there's any risks or anything, and
натомість отримала відповідь, що у разі виникнення кровотечі, так тривалої кровотечі, то необхідно звернутися в польські лікарні, і вони будуть допомагати далі.
So the response was, well, if you will start the bleeding, you need to go to the doctor, and they will just continue to help you.
І одразу ми зверталися до польських правників і до поліції.
So we made consultations with the Polish lawyers and the police.
Дуже скоро цей сайт перестав існувати.
Soon this website stopped existing.
Ми розуміли, що можуть бути якісь інші шляхи
We knew there could be
розповсюдження.
Some other ways we knew there could be some other ways to spread this information.
І тому разом з організацією Клуб захисту людського життя польською
And that's why together with the Club of Defending Life in Poland,
випустили велику кількість брошурок про дію ранньоабортивного засобу, медикаментозної
We print
таблетки.
many brochures regarding explaining what the morning after pill really is.
Українською мовою.
We print them in Ukrainian language.
І роздавали її буквально тим, хто ставав там на облік,
And so this information was
в
given
бюро
to.
ProLife. В нас працює лікар-гінеколог наша ProLife в
We spread
Польщі.
it everywhere in Poland, churches, consultation places, and we have our own doctor who's working there, who's defending
До
life.
якої приходять в основному українські жінки.
Most all Ukrainian women are coming to her.
І вона незалежно з якою метою до неї звертаються, вона всім дає цю брошурку.
And it doesn't matter who is coming to her, she's giving this brochure to everyone.
В греко-католицьких церквах розповсюджуємо її туди, куди ходять українці.
Wherever Ukrainians are, these brochures are.
Для того, щоб ця інформація розходилася.
That this information will just be available for everybody.
That's amazing. That's such a wonderful story. Yeah, just that impact of being able to stop that from going on. And I think you said when we were talking about this before that you don't know where the pills were coming from. They could have been any country supplying them, any business in any of the countries. They weren't necessarily in Poland.
Ви казали тоді, що ви не знаєте насправді, звідки ці таблетки приходять, що, напевно, вони не в Польщі, а можливо.
Так, я запитувала, звідки надходять ці таблетки. Вона сказала, що з міжнародної організації.
So I asked her, where these pills are coming from, and she just said that it is from international organization.
Interesting. That's so interesting. And then when you say morning after pill, is this RU486, the chemical abortion pill that can go, it's quote unquote safe up until 14 weeks, but really they try to push it longer. It's that.
Коли ви кажете таблетка, це ця таблетка, як вона називається?
Міфепрістон.
Yeah. Okay.
Міфепрістон.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Ми зазвичай не називаємо назву таблетки, тому що хтось почує і може скористатись цієї назви.
We usually don't say the name of the pill because somebody will hear that and could use that opportunity because you actually can buy it. You just can buy it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, in Ukraine. So in Ukraine, we say morning after pill. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I hear morning after pill, I think Plan B, which is like the quote unquote emergency contraception, which is, I believe, different than misoprostol. So I just wanted to make sure for our audience that they knew what was being talked about. Mm-hmm. Interesting. And you had also told the lady that the pregnancy was far along, like further than what is medically, quote unquote, medically considered safe. Right?
Ви також їй сказали, що ця вагітність вашої родички, вона вже затягнута, так?
Так. Я назвала, що це вже більше 10 тижнів.
I told her
Хоча
that
я
this is
знала,
more
що
than
ця
10
таблетка
weeks.
не можна приймати в такому терміні, але я спеціально назвала цей термін.
Though I knew that you could not take this pill already at that being pregnant so far, but I wanted to hear what she's going to say.
Interesting. Wow, that is such an amazing story. Like, thank you. Thank you for that. So.
Каже, що така неймовірна історія, так.
У нас є неймовірна історія про нашого пролев-діяча Мирослава. Можна розказати?
So she says we have another story beautiful about one pro-life one man. His name is Miroslav Wozniak, and he's been working in an incredible way of also Ukraine to saving babies' lives, and she wants to share.
Yes, please.
Йому знайома сказала, що її співробітниця, донька завагітніла, маючи там 15 років, приховувала цю вагітність.
And so somebody told him that there's a friend's daughter, 15 years old, got pregnant and was hiding her pregnancy.
І коли батьки дізналися, звернули в лікарню, то вже термін офіційно робити аборт був заборонений.
So when parents found out, and it was too late to actually officially to receive abortion,
Але їм порадили лікаря-гінеколога, який зробить за великі гроші, зробить цей уже кримінальний аборт.
But one doctor have recommended somebody else who for big money will perform this abortion.
Він сказав, що я на тиждень від'їжджаю десь в відпустку, а за тиждень повернусь і я вас прийму, зроблю аборт.
And he said that I'm leaving for a week, but after I come back, I will do the abortion. No problem.
І пан Мирослав пішов в ту клініку, бо він знав, в якій клініці.
And
Пішов в ту
Miroslav went to this
клініку,
clinic. He knew where the clinic was.
подивився в реєстратурі, який лікар-гінеколог-чоловік зараз у відпустці.
And then he looked it up, information, the doctor who is right now on vacation, and he's a man.
Зайшов до нього в кабінет до медсестри
He came to his office, and it was a nurse there.
і каже, що назвав по імені цього доктора, бо прочитав прізвище, ім'я по батькові.
So he saw the name of the doctor on the doors, and so that was his office.
Каже, мені терміново треба йому зателефонувати, бо це мій товариш, але я загубив його телефон.
He said, I immediately need to call my friend. I lost his phone number. Could you please give me his number?
Медсестра дала його телефон мобільний.
And so the nurse gave his personal phone number to Miroslav.
Він купив окрему картку телефонну.
He bought a phone card, with a number, so it will be like totally different number calling him.
Зателефонував йому
He called him and
і каже, що я знаю, що ви через тиждень будете робити кримінальний аборт.
he called him and he said, I know that you will do the criminal abortion in 1 week.
То знайте, що за вами слідкують.
And he said, so somebody is watching you.
Поліція за вами слідкує.
Police is watching you.
І лікар питає, хто це, хто ви?
And so the doctor is asking, who is this? Who is this? Who
Він
are you?
відключив телефон і викинув картку телефону.
And so he shut off the phone and threw away the number.
Лікар повернувся з цієї відпустки через тиждень
And the doctor came back from the vacation.
і відмовив їм робити аборт.
And then he said, I will never do this abortion, no.
І ця дитина народилася.
And this child was born.
І ці батьки тепер і бабуся з дідусем, які так наполягали на цьому аборті.
So the parents of this girl who was pregnant, they really insisted on abortion.
Вони такі щасливі.
Now they're so happy.
І це є їхній улюблений внук.
And this is their beloved grandson. Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else either of you would like to share before we wrap up the podcast today?
Щось ще ми хочемо, можливо, розказати, поділитися, поки закінчимо.
Наша організація 30 років існує.
Our organization, Genya's organization for the dignity of the people, exists for 30 years.
Почали діяльність після Чорнобильської трагедії, коли
Our work started after Chernobyl tragedy, when
офіційна статистика показувала 1 мільйон 300 тисяч абортів в рік.
Showed 1,300,000 abortions a year after the Chernobyl.
Хоча неофіційна ця цифра була в декілька разів більша.
But unofficially, this number was much larger.
І аборти були дозволені навіть по медичних і по соціальних показаннях.
And abortions were permitted for medical and social reasons.
Наприклад, наявність 3 і більше дітей в сім'ї можна було робити аборт навіть в 7 місяців вагітності.
So 3 and more children, you could perform abortion even seventh month of pregnancy.
Нам вдалося змінити чинне законодавство України.
We were able to change the law in Ukraine regarding
Зменшити терміни
and
переривання вагітності.
lower the term for permission of abortion.
І заборонені аборти по соціальних показаннях.
And also to forbid the abortions for the social reasons.
Тепер ми разом спільними зусиллями йдемо на шляху захисту людського життя від моменту
And now
зачаття.
together we're working also to continue to do this work that needs to be done in defending life.
В парламенті вже був проект закону про заборону абортів.
Our parliament had already the bill for forbidding the abortions.
І я одразу казала депутатам тим, що він не пройде, тому що це неправильно говорити про заборону.
And I right away said that this is not the right terminology to forbid the abortion because it will never work if we're gonna talk like that.
І зараз розроблений проект закону про захист людського життя від
And now we have another
зачаття.
bill that is prepared to be turned into the government, which says in defending the human life from the moment of conception. That's the right terminology.
Якщо хтось багато нам запитує: "А, ви виступаєте проти абортів?"
And if somebody asks us, so you are fighting against abortions,
Ми кажемо: "Ні, ми виступаємо за життя."
we say no, we are fighting to defend life.
За материнство, за дитинство, за сім'ю.
For the motherhood, for the family, for the child.
І не показуємо фільми про аборти, такі як раніше Бернарда Натансона "Німий крик". Аудиторії не показуємо.
We don't show the movies that show direct abortion. Like, for example, the Bernard Nathanson.
The Silent Scream.
Yeah.
Ми показуємо чудові фільми про внутрішньоутробний розвиток дитини.
We show the movies of development of the child in the womb. Like Endowment for Human Development movie, maybe.
І фільм завдяки теж Чаші милосердя випустили такий фільм Фонд розвитку людини.
Yeah, so we actually, my organization communicated with Endowment for Human Development. We have this movie translated in Ukrainian.
Oh, beautiful.
Який отримав ліцензію Міністерства освіти.
Now we have a license
України.
from the Ministry of Education that permits us to propose this movie to any educational center, from schools to universities.
That's
І він
amazing.
рекомендований для перегляду в усіх навчальних закладах.
And it's
України.
recommended to show to every,
Тому що це науковий фільм про розвиток дитини.
to every education center, because it actually shows exactly what's happening, and how the baby is growing within the womb. So
Fetal development is so important.
yeah, fetal
І
development.
він теж включений в цю програму основи сім'ї, яка має ліцензію Міністерства освіти.
Now we also have a program, and this movie is inserted into this program, which the program calls the foundation of the family, fundamental things of the family. No, and so it was right now accepted by many regions, and has also license by the Ministry of Education. And this program is available for everybody, for every region to accept it, in Ukraine, and to promote it in schools and colleges, universities, so on. So,
Працюємо різними способами.
so we're trying to work in different ways.
І анонімними дзвінками.
And so we call anonymously, like phone calls like this.
І молитвою біля абортарів у Львові, в Івано-Франківську.
And also the prayer, we gather also around the abortion clinics, and we pray together with the people in front of abortion clinics.
Ну і, звичайно, співпрацюємо з державними інституціями, такими як Міністерство освіти, Міністерство охорони здоров'я.
So we try to work with the ministries, with the government, because it's also important. With the parliament, because it's very important. They are the ones who can make this laws.
Yeah, and I know that a lot of people in Europe, they're not able to work with the government to be able, it's a lot harder because the governments are so much more liberal or so much more in favor of abortion and all that. So it's beautiful that you have the ability to do that and be able to move within the government and offer this education.
Yes, and something else I would like to share very much, that last June, June 9th, we organized first summit with the name Ukraine Life Dignity Victory. The summit was meant to speak very loudly to the people in the United States particularly, and because many were asking me the question, so what do you guys do? Your voice is not being heard. Where are you, pro-life organizations? Where are you, the ones who defending life? Like, you just want guns from us, you just want military equipment from us, but we don't want to help country that is like killing themselves within. So that was really, let's say, that statement really hurt me. And because it's totally mistargeted everything. No, so the summit was organized particularly for to show people in United States and conservative circles that how many of us there, and also to bring deeper awareness to our government how important this message, and they need to speak on defense. No, that as well. So if we want to break that propaganda that Russia has caused us here in the United States, no? And so we organized the summit, and it was fascinating. I have invited a very well-known person, I think, in the United States, especially in the Catholic circles, Jason Jones. He's a president and founder of Venerable People Project. And he came and he was sharing that at the beginning he was expected to see like LGBT flag in every corner. And then he says that the only one I saw was at the building of Canadian embassy. It totally, he said, I knew nothing about Ukraine. And when he was leaving, he felt so sad. He said, I felt like I have not done anything for Ukraine yet, So even though it's war right now, and I know it's dangerous, but I think people, if they have a courage to come, if they have a courage to fight, as a Catholics, us, through our baptism, each one of us is priest, prophet, and king, right? God has given us authority, and we should not be afraid of this authority. And even, look, United States government was found in God we trust. So it shows that this nostalgia that American people have, that in God we trust, and wanting to defend a human life, just human, is so important, fundamental, no? And St. John Paul II really fought for that, no? And he, first 5 years of his papacy, he dedicated to speaking to the people about theology of the body. Look at this, how theology is study about God. Like, why are you saying theology of the body? No,
exactly. Yeah.
That's important, because our Christianity need to go that direction of understanding that, yes, the government, we are just so, well, I don't want to have anything to do with the government and the politics. But if the politicians are not going to be the Christians, if we are not, let's say, building our governance on the fundamental things, then what is the government? You know what I mean?
The government should be there. They should be protecting every citizen from the moment of conception all the way until natural death.
Yeah, so we are kind of like divided so much. The Christians are I'm gonna hibernate. I'm just gonna be looking for the community when I just can hibernate, and I'll have my land and my children and my family and all this. So
you can't isolate yourself from the politics.
Yes, you cannot do this. So this summit was meant to bring this awareness, like stir up kind of, people in Ukraine, and also to show people in America that we are not what they think of us, and
you held that, I believe, in Kiev while it was being bombed, right?
Yes, we air raid alerts were constantly. I mean,
oh my goodness.
Yes, it was not safe. We had it at the most fancy bunker you could ever find. It was wonderful location. We had it. It was high level event, and we also showed by that our government that we are very serious. We are very serious, and they're very much supported. And so, and I think that this summit become a key, a very strong key, right in the midst of this fiery jaw of death. There is a voice, and a strong voice, and that strong voice have values of every conservative value there is.
Have you heard of any impact from this conference of people who have changed their mind because of it, or have done any new things, I don't know, to put any protections in place for the unborn?
Yes. So because we had a congressman and congresswoman, right now we are preparing to preparing the bill of which my colleague Genya spoke, the bill to defend life from the moment of conception. We are preparing to turn that into the first votes. Now, first votes happening in our country is the people voting, and then it takes to the parliament, and parliament votes. And we just had incredible conversation with our government leaders, and we showed them this is the only opportunity we have right now to enter with the unity, in the unity, let's say, with America as well. And because if this is what the concern of people here, we will not help you because you're killing yourself. We want to totally change that and show that this is not the truth. We want to leave, and we will defend, our little Ukrainian as well. Help us to defend our little Ukrainian. If anything else, just help us to defend little Ukrainian who's not born yet,
Well, and conservative and pro-life Americans need to care about this, because if the money that America is sending to Ukraine is coming with the strings attached of you must promote abortion, you must promote
Yes,
LGBTQ
and so on.
ideologies.
Yes.
Like pro-life Americans need to be able to support the like organizations like both of yours. Well, you're our affiliate, so like supporting HLI and all the work that you're doing, and then the work that you're doing as well to be able to promote life and family, because like it is a shame that America is sending money with these strings attached.
Yes, absolutely it is, because like for example, our president Zelensky, I'm not gonna right now like talk much beside one thing. I'll say that when there was a bill turned and pushed as hard as possible that he will accept the same-sex marriages, he said, and everybody can read it on the site, on the website of our government, you know what it says that it put on pause, we're not going to discuss this during the war. That's it. Because, and that is something that his response is basically spoke enough to us that he's not interested about this. And at the same time, you said strings attached, right? We are being speculated. We are giving you the military aid, but you must do this. So it's like if you would have a daughter, and your daughter was, and you were asked, do you want us to rape her or to kill her? What are you gonna say? What would be your response? Like, what is this man had to do? If they're constantly anything that is being asked for has that strings attached, and we cannot fight the enemy that is 28 times bigger than us in every aspect. Our missiles is like $2 million something in response, $1 million, not worth if we put into a dollar quantity. But his missiles and his military landing at us 450 billion. That's comparison, no? And also something that people need to know that, so since the beginning of war, I'll just try to explain something.
Yeah.
Since the beginning of war, I have been shipping medical supplies to Ukraine. Every 2.5 weeks, I shipped over $2 million worth of medical supplies to my country. My organization, Chalice of Mercy, has a warehouse in Zaporizhia. I have volunteers. I have 3-ton trucks that I go with my volunteers into the depth where I can literally feel the Russian breath at my neck, you know. So what I'm trying to say is that, we shipped over $40 million worth, but I received this help for free. So it's a value, no? So I received the medications, I received the surgery supplies, which is going to save life. But here in America, I received this from the NGOs that are receiving that for free from the hospitals. It's considered discarded. Okay. So it has no value for America anymore. But with this, I save life. Yeah. So whatever the military supplies we receive from United States, a lot of that has been written off. So we receive the value of that stuff, but it's considered basically a humanitarian aid. Do you know what I'm trying to lead? So it's like we receive these things, not depriving United States from anything. No. At all. We are receiving 5% of capability of United States to deliver that aid to any country. Only 5%. And a lot of that stuff is being used already. So it's secondhand. Yeah. Why am I saying this? It's not to express my ungratitude. I am grateful and my country is grateful. But it is just to break that through of thought that we receive some kind of billions of dollars in cash. It's not in cash. It's being invested in something. Or like grants proposed with strings attached. You see, it's been really well controlled. And that I hope that people in the United States will do research deeper instead of just believing that what Russia propaganda can say. So,
well, thank you both for sharing that today.
Thank you.
It's been so great to have this conversation. It's been so wonderful to meet you in person. I feel like I hear these stories in the mission field and I write about them, and having the personal connection is so amazing, and just getting to meet both of you and hear firsthand all about the wonderful work you're
Yeah.
doing.
Thank
So,
you so much
Thank
for
you.
inviting us. And
yeah, and thank you for sharing it with our audience.
yeah.
To all of our listeners, please like, follow, and subscribe. I'll put a donate link down in the description, and I'll link your organization as well so people can donate to both, and keep on living the culture of life. God bless.